what's going on? This is your boy, Dr. Calvin Green. Listen, in a couple of minutes, we're going to go live for tonight's show. Tonight's show is the best kept secret edition, and we're talking the Black foster dad. So we'll be back in about 7 minutes, and we'll get tonight's show started off. So I will see you guys in a minute. Hey, what's up, family? Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome back to another amazing episode of Dialogues with Doc. Dana, I see you. Hey, sister, my sister Dana's in the building. Listen, y'all. I'm so excited to be with you guys on tonight. I am 1 week away. I will say 1 week away from celebrating the 1 year anniversary of this awesome and amazing platform that I have been graced to create. What started out as an idea and a thought became a whole content creation process. So I'm just like so excited for what has been happening over the last 365 days, the amazing guests, the amazing topics, and everything like that has taken place. I just appreciate you guys so much for rocking with me. Again, this was birthed during COVID. Just wanted to provide a safe space and a platform to talk about a bunch of different topics. So tonight is going to be nothing less than that. We're going to keep those same momentum going, that same momentum going. Have some amazing guests joining me, have another awesome and amazing topic on tonight. But of course, you guys know the house rules. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. So comment, like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you're watching right now, thank you for watching. If you like something or hear something that you like, comment. If you're watching the broadcast right now, share it for me. And if you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Same house rules since day one. Nothing's changed but the year. And we'll be a year old next week. Antoine, hey, brother, I see you, man. I appreciate you joining me tonight. So if you're watching tonight, let me know where you're watching from. Getting my guests in the queue. They'll be coming on shortly. But I do want to share, guys, thank you so much for rocking with me. This is your first time watching. Thank you. This is you're a repeat watcher. Thank you as well. This could not be done without the help of you guys watching and tuning in each and every week. Hey, Natasha, thank you for joining us tonight. Natasha's in the building. Thank you for watching it down, holding it down for Atlanta. I'm going to hold it down for the whole D, the M, and the V. I'm going to hold it down for DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So I'm going to hold it down for the whole triangle in this area. Natasha got Atlanta for me. Also, if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from so I can shout you out as well. Again, let me know where you're watching from. Tonight, I do want to share something with you guys. There is the big birthday celebration coming up next week. One of my former guests was Jamal Malik of 3050. So if you are watching Dialogues with Doc right now, go to 3050company.com, use the code Docverde, get some of those amazing gifts and jewelry and accessories that he has for you. Remember, his topics were thoughts and concepts. Go to their website right now, use the code Docverde in preparation for our 1 year anniversary show next week and get you some awesome and amazing stuff. Also, tonight's show sponsor, if you're in the Philly area, the Divine Light Preschool is looking for you. If you have a kid that's going to be 3 years old by September the 1st, you qualify for free preschool. So if you're watching right now, share this information with someone that has a child, 215-939-2842. Again, if you're in the Philly area, Dana is looking for you. If you have a child that will be 3 by the time September 1st gets here, you qualify for free preschool. If you're like me, you like free stuff, share that information. Tell Dana Dialogues with Doc sent you. Dana, thank you for holding the show down every week for this month. You have been an awesome and amazing show sponsor. So I thank you so much for rocking with me. Dana's one of my former guests as well. I had a show about mothers raising Black sons. Dana was an awesome and amazing guest on that. So let's support Dana. Dana, I love you. Thank you for everything. And y'all, call Dana. Tell her I sent you. If you want to be a show sponsor, email me, drcalvin.green@gmail.com. I would love to support you, love to highlight and showcase the amazing things that you entrepreneurs are doing. And I would just love to have you guys supporting me as I support you. All right. All that stuff's out the way. And I did it in record time because I'm excited about tonight's show. Y'all see me? I'm excited over here. So listen, I don't know where these ideas come from. I sleep with a notepad by my desk, and I just get ideas and I write them down. And I have in my house right now, I have like a whole chart paper with just right now it's 42 topics on it that I want to cover on this show of Dialogues with Doc within the next year or so. So I get these ideas and then I don't know which direction to go or who to reach out to or whatever. So it just so happens that sometimes, hey, Pastor Chandra, thank you for joining me tonight. The way this stuff comes up is like a God download. Like I'll get the topic and God will tell me or show me a sign or let me know I have someone in my bandwidth already that is dealing with this kind of stuff or experiencing this kind of stuff. Or thanks to social media, I'll just be randomly scrolling on Instagram, and I'm connected to people, and people just jump out at me when I have a different topic that comes up, and I just reach out immediately, and I sit over here and I like hope they say yes, hope they chime in and holler at your boy, let me know we can get this thing popping and we can have some awesome and amazing dialogue. And this is how this show comes about. I pray and ask for direction, and he tells me who to go to, who to reach out to, and I just pray that they say yes. So far, I've been doing this thing for a year. I have not had any no's. So this is a good thing that I'm doing some good thing and have some good dialogue and conversation each and every week. So I thank you guys tonight, especially my amazing guests that are going to be joining me. Guys, listen. Tonight's show, I wanted to highlight Black dads. And so I wanted to highlight some awesome and amazing Black fathers, but then you guys know Dialogues with Doc. I try to throw a wrench in there in the sense of coming from a different angle. So I'll come up with a topic, and my goal is to come from a different angle with each and every topic. So when I got the idea about Black dads, I said, well, hey, I want to go in another direction and just kind of enhance the topic and enhance the discussion even more. So I said, what about Black foster dads? And so I said, well, not many people know about Black foster dads, or people think they know about Black foster dads, but I want to do a show just on Black foster dads. I feel like these brothers that are going to be joining me tonight are some amazing super dads. They are some of the best kept secret. And that's why I titled the show, The Best Kept Secret Edition, Black foster dads. Many people don't know about the power behind a Black foster dad. Many don't know the process behind becoming a Black foster dad. Many people are out there and wondering how they can become a dad. They may not have children naturally, but there are other ways that you can become a father. And so the Black Foster Dad Network is another avenue that I want to highlight on tonight, and just highlight some amazing brothers that are just doing this thing with ease, with a lot of smiles, a lot of chin grinning, a lot of rebuke for children because they want them to make the right decisions and do the right thing. But I just wanted to bring on some brothers tonight to help me talk about this thing as an educator. I do serve as a surrogate father for many students in my high school, but I wanted to just hear from some brothers who are actually working in the trenches doing the doggone thing. So you guys know this is Dialogues with Doc. There is only one way that I can bring my guest on to the show. So you guys know there's only one way to do the thing. We're going to do the thing the way we do it. So I'm going to bring him on the best way that I know how. So let me do that real quick. Eric, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. How are you?
I'm great, man. Tony's going to join us shortly. I'm just waiting on him to log in, but I don't want to keep you in the queue much longer. I want to get you on here, man. Then we'll catch up with him once he jumps in here, man. My brother, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. Loving living in DC, and it's fabulous. That's all I can say.
I love it, man. Listen, you moved during the pandemic.
Yes. Okay. I moved during the pandemic.
Okay, so I gotta change my whole chain of thought right now. Let me go to this question. Before we get started, how are you maneuvering through this pandemic? Let me start there, because you've done a lot and even moved in the midst of this thing. So how are you dealing in the midst of all this on top of being a foster dad? Let me know. Let's start there.
So I'm not a foster dad anymore. They're technically adopted.
Okay.
Perfect. So I adopted them in 2019. The pandemic came, and it's been being a single, at first being a single parent and raising two boys and being a teacher and plus working a full-time job is a lot. So I tell anybody, when I hear, people say, oh, well, parents should get over it. No, you can't get over this. This is a lot of work for a parent to do every single day. I have a lot of friends who are single parents. I have siblings who are single parents who do this every day before I became a parent. I was part of their kids' lives, until I decided I wanted my own.
Right.
And maneuvering through the pandemic is very challenging, but it's necessary to still be engaged and out there and just being present in the world.
Yeah. No, it's like I'm doing all of these major things, and on top of that, it's a pandemic. So I'm
Hmm.
dealing with this. I'm dealing with this personally, and then the whole world is dealing with that as a whole. So definitely trying to juggle a lot of things has been challenging. But I keep telling everybody that the pandemic did something that gave us something that I felt like we needed, which was a lot of time. A lot of time to
Yes.
reflect, a lot of time to well, let me say it like this. If you didn't come out of the pandemic doing something differently because you had the time to, you didn't take advantage of this thing as we continue to still go through it. So it gave us a lot of time to catch up, a lot of time to recalibrate, a lot of time to just refocus on the things that are of the most importance to us. And so for you, like you said, well, I gotta change my surroundings, and so you moved to a totally different city with your boys, man. Like, how was that for them? How did it come about? Like, okay, y'all, we're moving. Was
Well,
like, Dad, we going where, Dad? Like, I like it here.
I've always talked to my kids. I talk to them even though they're 5 and 8. I've always had conversations with them, like
Mhm.
realistic conversations with them. I believe that you have to have those conversations with your children. So when I told the boys, I said, "Daddy got a job in DC," and they was like, "Oh, we moving?" And I was like, "Yeah," and they was like, "Okay," and kept playing. It wasn't like they didn't care. It didn't phase them. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, okay, we're gonna still play. Can we go play now? You done? You said what you had to say. We good. And I was just like, okay, But that's what they do.
It's like you expect a different response. They're like, okay, next thing, okay, can we go back to playing? Like, okay, we're going
I
wherever we're
actually,
going. It is what it is.
actually, I didn't expect a different response.
Okay.
I just expected what it was. You know, my 8-year old, he's very straightforward like me. He says what he says, he means it, and he keeps moving. It's just like,
Mhm.
okay, that's what you said. We moving? All right. Can we go finish playing now? Yeah. Okay. Talk to you later.
Love it. I love it, man. Eight is like, okay, we doing what we doing, and we gonna keep this train moving,
Absolutely.
and we're moving to
Hmm.
DC. So
Hmm.
look, I want to start the conversation off by just asking you. You went from foster dad to being an adoptive dad, but for you growing up, what was the family structure like for you? Like, you have these two amazing young men now, but what was it like for you growing up? And you are originally from Philly, right? Or
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. My bad. Don't crucify me. Pennsylvania, but Pittsburgh. Okay. So what was it like for you growing up in Pittsburgh, and now you're like, I'm a dad.
Um, I have a lot. I have 8 siblings. So
Okay,
I'm one of 8. So all of them have kids. I
okay,
was the only one without children.
gotcha.
You know, um, godsons, goddaughters. All that great stuff, but not my own. Kids. And it was great, having nieces and nephews, and me working in early childhood education helped me learn a little bit more about kids as well. So I've been doing this for 24 years.
Hmm.
So I have nieces, nephews across the country. Um, and I've always wanted kids. I've
Hmm.
always wanted like 6 kids. I wanted a set of quadruplets and a set of twins. And I was like, wait a minute, that's too many kids. It's too many mouths to feed and all that other stuff. So as went on, I was like, okay, let me follow my career and do what I need to do, go to college, do all
Hmm.
my things. Um, and when my relationship ended in 2015, I was like, I want to become a foster parent. I was like, this will give me the opportunity if I want to be a parent or not. And I said, if I didn't have any kids by the time I was 40, I wasn't having any kids.
Hmm.
So at 39 and a half, 2 little boys came to my household and it was been there ever since.
Man. Okay. So one of 8, but you always. Well, I guess working in the education field, there was always a desire to have your own children. Is that fair to say?
Some days. It
Some.
depends on
Okay.
some
Okay.
days.
So okay, and I'm asking that for clarity for me.
Because as an educator, you know, I'm paid to deal with other people's kids all day.
Exactly.
And I'm in a high school, so there's different. So some days I want to have kids, and some days I'm tired of your kids. So I don't want to have. So like that's how I feel some days. So the fact that I connected with you on that is like, okay, I'm not losing it. I am good. This is normal. I'm in the right place at the right time.
So honestly, it's actually normal if you have siblings who have children. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Love my nieces and nephews, but at some days I'd be like, don't know if I want any kids. You know, and that's how it was. You know, and my brothers and sisters, they all helped me through this process, and I appreciate each and every one of them because and my closest friend, who's on here watching, Natasha, she has, I've learned through her about kids, and my other friends, that they had kids, and I'm like, am I the only one? Like, a lot of my friends now are grandparents, and I'm still like the new parent. Their kids are grown, and it's like, I got little people. They're like, why you wait so long? But
like my wait was intentional. How about that? Natasha said it's hard to foster some kids even if they're related. No, Natasha, you talking good, sis. Whether you're related or even if you gotta work with them, like
right,
it's rough.
Absolutely.
I want to go here because you said you recently adopted the boys, but how long had you been a foster dad with them before you adopted them, and what actually made you say yes?
So from day one, when they walked into my home, December 8th, 2016, I knew they was my kids. It wasn't no question. That's what made me say yes. I just knew right then and there they was my kids. So in 2016 they came, and termination of parental rights ended in July 2017, and it took almost 2 years for the adoption process. Which was in 2019, February 2019 was when I adopted them. So the process, it usually takes about a year, but sometimes paperwork expire, trainings expire, so then you have to go through the process again of the adoption process. So it takes about a year, they said typically, but sometimes it's 2 years.
Gotcha. So that's and some people, was there ever a point when you felt discouraged going through the process? Like, is this taking too long? I'm considering not, this is, it can become this, some things when you're waiting for them and working for them can just become so discouraging to the point where you're like, I don't know about this.
That wasn't the discouraging part. The discouraging part for me was in the beginning because I was afraid to apply to be a foster parent because 1, I'm single. 2, I'm a man. And 3, I'm a gay black male. So for all of that, on top of it, it was just like, they may not let me get these kids because I'm black and I'm single. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, okay, that was the discouraging part for me. But the other part, the waiting part, I was fine with that because when the parental rights were terminated, I knew that I was the only other option, to adopt a kid.
Right.
So for me, it was just like, okay, well, I can wait. I was patiently. I think everybody else was anxious for the process to happen, to end and be done and over with. Like a lot of my friends, my family, they're like, well, how long does it take? Like, why we got to wait? And why you waiting? And what, don't they get it? No, because we still going with our same routine. You're going to school. I'm going to work. You're going to the zoo. We're going here. We're doing. So that part didn't bother me. The part in the beginning was the most challenging part for me to do it.
Love it. Leonard, thank you for chiming in. He said, I've been there before, but completely worth it. I was right there too. I don't think people really like Grandma always told me everything worth having is worth waiting for. However,
Absolutely.
some things really try your patience and going through the whole process. And like you said, the whole what ifs. Are they really going to give me these boys? Are they really going to give me, as a single man, as a single gay man, the chance to be a dad? Period. Like, I guess this is something I've always wanted to do. Is someone going to snatch this dream away from me? And the way you persevered through that is just huge. And I love how you said that, because for me, it's not a matter of your orientation. Black male foster dads are needed, no matter if you're gay, if you're straight. The pipeline, and I see this every day. A couple months ago, I even had a young lady asking me, did I want to be a foster dad in my building? She is tired of going from pillar to post. She's currently in a group home, I think. And I'm like, well, maybe, should I consider, being a dad? But I'm living my best life right now. So give me a couple more years, maybe I'll consider. But it's just crazy how she had no one else to turn to, and she considered me. Like, you talking to me? It's like, Mr. Brown, me? You asking me to be a foster dad? And I'm like, well, maybe this is something to consider. And that's kind of gave me the impetus for this show. Like, I want to speak to some other brothers about it and just hear from them about their journeys and hear from them about the process and hear from them, just to get some more of the conversation and dialogue going, because there are definitely more positive male role models needed for our Black and our brown boys, which takes me to my next question. Can you explain your take on positive male role models for our Black and brown boys? Can you just think about that for a second? And like, what, as a father, it's not even foster, it's not adopted, it's just as a father, what's your take on the positive Black male role models for Black and brown boys? And I'm about to bring my other amazing super dad guest on and get this conversation going even more. And this is my dude right here. This is a good sound brother that gives good advice all the time. That whenever I reach out and he answers, he's held me down. It is what it is. It's brother's night. Tom, what's going on, man?
What's up, bro? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, y'all know that I'm an IT specialist now. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, bro?
Man? We just getting this conversation going, man. I'm glad to see you, man. I know you've been busy today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Picking up kids from camp, swimming pool, all that stuff. You know how they go.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna jump back to E, and I'm gonna come to you and just follow up with the question, okay?
All right.
So E, how this positive Black male role model thing is huge. What's your take on it for our Black and brown boys?
This is, because you see so much negativity in about, fathers not being there, fathers not being present. I can honestly say that my dad was present. So whatever I see, I remember all the things that my dad did with us. Some of them was good, some of it was bad, but I took all the positive things from those experiences, and I shared them with my kids. I think, like, if you get positive experiences from a Black male, you can provide those experiences for those kids. I think most of the time we don't look at the positive sides of what's going on with Black men. You don't look at that. You look at, like, I look at Tony, I'd be like, you do a lot. Me personally, I'd be tired just watching. But I'd be like, so, I commend you on it, because I was like, man, he doing this, he doing this, he doing this, and and if he can do it, another brother can do it. You know what I'm saying? I think it's taking those positive experiences and showing people that it can be done. And not thinking that, this is what Black men do. No, we don't hang out in the streets all the time. We don't do all that.
Right.
Don't put us in that stereotype. You know what I'm saying? Don't put us there. Because there are men who are out here doing the thing, like Tony. Like, I'm telling you, bro, I'd be like, dang, he moving, shaking, and I'd be like, ooh, I'm tired just watching.
Look, Eric, and doing it with such ease, like I was
exactly.
Like I'm just look. He doesn't even. It's not even work for him. He's just doing it just because he just Tony. Tony just what he does. Tony, jump in there, man.
Yeah, bro. Listen, E, man, listen. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Really, it's what I do. Meaning, like, it don't seem like it's work when you start seeing the changes in young brothers' lives. I did this type work before I became a foster parent, I was a social worker. They worked with troubled teens and ran a facility for boys that committed violent crimes that also had issues with drugs. Most of them had marijuana, but some had some heavier issues with drinking and gambling and things like that. So this seems natural to me because the house that I live in, these boys live in, is the house I was raised in. And so it's plenty of dudes in this neighborhood now that's grown men, pops, and some of them even pops, you know, telling me, you know, Aunt, you always, you know, told me to go the right way. Aunt, you always slid me $1 if I needed money and things like that. So this was a natural progression to do what I'm doing. And I always understood that you can't give advice if you ain't living the advice, you know, because somebody's always watching you, and not watching you so much to see if you living your advice, but watching to see if you're a fraud, like you saying one thing and doing another, you know. And I always was determined not to be, you know, that person, you know. So I think that what we need right now in our society, our community today of color, really is men to talk the talk and walk the walk. You know what I mean? We do have a lot of brothers that's doing it, don't get me wrong, but we need our kids, and particularly our black boys, to be exposed to all different types of men, not just the same stereotypical hypersexual, hyper masculine you know, dudes in society. They need to see my dad's 75. He's an ex-Philadelphia narcotics detective, you know what I mean? And to this day, he still come and see me and my brothers. You know, he stopped my brother's house, kiss him on the cheek, stop my house, kiss me on the forehead or the cheek, you know what I mean? But he been doing that since we was little boys, you know what I mean? But we also seen him fold people up into a pretzel in the streets as a cop, you know? So it showed us that you can have, you know, both. You can, I mean, seriously, in our community, if we are not showing our brown boys before the age of 12 how to be nurturing, how to be caring, you know what I mean? They're already hard as stone thugs by the time, I'm just talking about the mentality, not necessarily the behavior per se, but they don't think they need to smile at nothing or anything like that already by the time they 10.
Yeah, and you're talking about them at the early age, and then when they get to me in the high school, it's really, I hate to say out of whack, but they really don't know how to process and deal with their emotions and their feelings, and they're all over the place, and they're looking for someone that looks like them in the high school to be able to connect to, because I don't get those things that Tony was talking about at home or in the neighborhood. So I think this is right, or this is the perception I have of what the black male image is supposed to be. And you're like, no, there are some impactful brothers out here doing the work. It doesn't seem like work to them to make the impact on these young boys' lives. So thank you for sharing that, Tone. I want to go here. Where am I going? Because y'all messing me up already. This is good dialogue. So okay, for you watching right now, I got 2 shows in one. I have the Black foster dad edition, but I have some foster dads who have turned to adoptive dads. So how has becoming a father changed your life on either spectrum? So I'm reshaping and reframing the question, because Tone just recently adopted the boys. E, you adopted the boys. So it's like, I don't have foster dads. I have dads. Like I've seen the transition for you both to get to this point. So how has doing this changed your life?
Eric.
It's changed my life in a lot of ways. Because, you know, when you become a parent, a lot of things manifest, you see your kids do, and it manifests from your childhood as well. So you're sitting there like, oh, I used to do that, and I used to get yelled at for that, but I can't yell at them for that because they just learning. It's them playing. It's them trying to figure out and understand life. So for me, it's like, okay, I can't yell at you for that. So I can talk to you about it. So let's talk about it, you know, but not yell about it. I remember it changed me in a lot of ways where it made me open up my heart more and be more receptive to be more compromising. And not only just with the kids, but in my relationship now. Like I'm in a relationship, so I have to learn how to compromise. You know, so I'm compromising with the kids, I'm compromising the relationship, and I'm like, wait a minute, this actually works. Because I was always the hard one. the strong one, the tough one. But now I've learned how to compromise. I think also for me, it's like I take a lot of things that my grandfather showed me and my dad showed me growing up, helped me become the person I am today, and the dad that I am today, which is, I'm not perfect, but I do my best every day. If that's, that's basically it. I do.
So when you the compromise, okay, the compromise piece. Let's go there for a second. Do you, for me, okay, I know my demeanor. Okay, explain the compromise to me because your boys are 5 and 8, right?
I had them since they were 1 and 3.
Okay. Explain the compromise thing to me from the lens of I'm the adult. I'm not compromising with you. This is what I say.
So some things are non-negotiable. Some things are non-negotiable. Like education is non-negotiable. As an educator, some things are non-negotiable. Me, education is non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable subject. We talk about it. I will discuss it. I will listen to you. But I'm not negotiating on you doing your work. You need to do your work.
Right.
Period. Now, I don't care what time of the day that you decide you want to do it. You're still going to do it. That's a non-negotiable. But some things like I know I used to get punished for like little goofy little things. You know what I'm saying? But I also had a smart mouth too, so I was combative with everybody. So I've learned to like not be combative. And I'm teaching them not to be combative as well, because I know what it's like to be combative with your parent. And my mother will tell you, I was the one that it's back and forth. And it wasn't until I was a teenager that my mom let me know, like, okay, this is not going to happen.
Right.
It is what it is, and I was like, okay, won't never say that to her again. So I learned my lesson.
Jump in here. Jump in here.
Yeah. Well, for me, to be honest with you, y'all know, y'all also my Facebook friends, so y'all know how big I am on being Uncle Tony, right? And although technically by law now I am young Ali's father, I'm still Uncle Tony because the reason why I stand on that position is because I feel these kids have passed, these kids have biological parents, and I'm just saying for me what works for me, which is I always like to be in front of something. So I am actually thinking one day dad may possibly get his life in order, his mom may whatever circle back around, and for me I just don't want the uncomfortable thing of him interacting with his biological dad and still trying to figure out. Well, I've actually seen this happen. This is why I'm saying this. I've seen it happen to one of the kids I mentored. Hadn't seen his dad until he was 17, senior in high school. And one of the coaches that was coaching him since he was in Little League had allowed this kid to start calling him dad since he was maybe 10 years old, 8, 9, 10 years old. By the time he got 17, his real dad came into his life. He was a product of an affair. So so the dad always was there financially. And so the dad came into the life, and then the kid that I had became a mentor to while he was a teenager, I said, well, how did that go? You introduced dad, I want you to meet dad. It was uncomfortable because he was excited about having a new relationship with his biological dad, very fresh and excited about that. But he also was torn with, do I now sell my coach out and say, coach me dad? Right. And then, coach, the kid got caught all up. The kid don't need to be wedged in between all those feelings to be able to say, oh, shoot, now do I call him coach? And now coach hurt. Oh, now I'm coach. Now you met your dad. And the coach this didn't happen. The coach didn't act like that. But I'm just saying it was uncomfortable. So for me, I like being Uncle Tony. Right, because everybody I got favorite uncles. I always want to be the favorite uncle. You know what I mean? And and honestly, when they was in foster care and kids trying to explain, you pick them up from school, now suddenly a whole new person. Mind you, I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. Right, so mind you, it's a new person picking them up at school, and the kids trying to explain, you know, who this guy is, and I'm saying, just tell him your uncle.
That's my uncle.
That's my uncle. Everybody got uncles that everybody don't know, right? And so,
Right.
For me, you know, I'm excited about what lies ahead. You know what I mean? You know, we just had a conversation where they all were, you know, walking around the house looking at things and so on and so forth. And Uncle Tony, ain't this true? When you die, you get this? Uncle Tony, is it true when you die, so on and so forth? I'm like, so it sounds like y'all waiting for me to like die, you know?
Right.
But, you know, just that attachment piece is starting to happen, you know, and, you know, for me, you know, the name is just a name. And what I see Eric doing, you definitely dad, bro. You know, and you know he inspires as well. I mean, his kids be dressed to the T, and I'll be on my kids like, listen, why you got that on? That look crazy, you know what I mean? Then here you go, you sign on Facebook, you see Eric boys, they all fly, and you know, got all this
they all fly in front of the monuments and in they fresh sis sucker suits, and you know, I don't know why he haven't gave them their own Instagram page yet, because that's how he get all the likes.
They actually have one. They actually have an Instagram page. They actually do, and it's you know, it's. I get what you're saying because I'm going through this process now, with the biological mom, and I had to cut it off because it was becoming toxic.
Yeah.
And it wasn't being, basically not caring about the boys' feelings. And when you disregard their feelings, me as the primary caregiver, the parent, all bets is off on that point because you disregarding their feelings. So like for me, I got to cut you off. Now, like I told her, I said by law, you can't see them till they're 18 because this is my choice. Whatever they decide when they turn 18 and over, that's their choice. But for right now, I had to cut it off because it was too toxic for me, and it was too toxic for them. Now their dad, their biological father, you know, I have a relationship with his family.
Okay.
You know, the kids, we were just there this past weekend in Philly where they, you know, went to their family reunion. They was excited. I left them there for a couple of hours because I was like, I'm going to have me some time to myself, peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And, you know, they loved it. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you know, his sister, I said, you know, you're their aunt. I want you to have a relationship with them, you know. And it's just because, like, that's their family at the end of the day, you know. I am their family, but that's their family as well. So I want them to always have that relationship with their aunt, their cousins, their grandmother. You know, like I said, for the mom, I had to cut it off because it was you know, you disregarded their feelings, and it was like they'll get over it, and it's like you can't tell a 5 and 8-year-old to get over it because that affects them mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like, no, we gonna get over you. We gonna get over you.
And that's our job as the advocate to advocate for the children.
Right.
And I also have a good relationship with all the biological mothers and things like that. And you know, I really let them know that, you know, this situation that we are in is going to be. I'm a help to the situation. I'm not here to take away anything as it relates to you instilling in your children, your family. Mission, we'll call it mission statement and stuff like that. I'm here to be a help to the family, and that's what we are. We can be, you know, if the biological family, you know, have their mind in the right space and don't try to make the kid have to make a choice between the two, because the kid can have both. You know what I mean? Our black boys, you know, we deal with boys in particular, black children as a whole deserve to have, you know, a village. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
That's it. Tone and E, I want to go here because me and Tony started to have this discussion through Messenger one day, and I want to bring it to the forefront for anybody that's watching. Where is it at? I got the question. Can you share why more Black foster dads are needed? You know, Tone told me, I speak on all these platforms, we need more Black males to become foster dads. So there definitely is a need, but just from your own perception and your own experiences, somebody's probably watching right now considering. They might be watching right now live. They may be watching 2:00 in the morning. I'm speaking in London, England, and South Africa one day, and this may come up on the YouTube channel. They saw this awesome and amazing topic, and they're considering and contemplating becoming a foster dad. Just from your own perspective and your own lenses, why are more Black foster dads needed?
Yeah, they're needed, in my opinion. You know, I have mentoring boys, inner city boys, and things like that. The sad side of it, I go to a lot of funerals, a lot of murders and stuff like that. And some of these kids, you know, when I step up to the podium to say my 30 seconds or something, you know, I challenge men to step up, right? I challenge them to step up. I challenge them to stop talking barbershop talk in the barbershop around 10, 11-year-old boys, you know, talking about pee, you know, all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, these boys are not ready for that. That's why our boys are becoming hypersexual. You know, I'm dealing with a lot of hypersexual stuff right now in my house with 10 and 11-year-old, you know, boys. And for the record, I have 5 boys. You know,
Ooh.
I'm like, why are we talking? You want to be grown? I said, you want to be grown?
Yeah.
Because trust me, when you grown to the day you die. You know, and boys, listen, they're sponges. You know what I mean? And barbershop is our hub where we talk. And so the reason why more black men are needed as foster dads, in my opinion, well, I go back. So, you know, when I step up and say I need black men to step up, I need you brothers to step up in here. We got to stop on this. You can't cry in public, and you know, you can't show no emotions. Only time you can show emotions if your man got shot in front of you and you like, yo, somebody call the police, call that man, hold on, my man. That's the only time you can show emotion. That's crazy, right? And it's very you know, unhealthy, right, for our community. Like so, and then the second time, the only time a lot of men are showing emotion is when they're walking up to the casket of their son laying there dead. Right, your son need to see them tears when they were either happy tears when you accomplish something, sad tears when maybe your grandmama, the child's grandmama, his mama died or something like that. Your child needs to see that you are a living human being. And our black boys. And don't get me wrong, I ain't telling these black kids to go do that in the middle of a 22nd and a diamond or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm saying there's a time and place for everything. And our boys need to have these coping skills because they holding all this stuff in. And this is the stuff that's making them angry. This is the stuff that's making them not have the ability to have any self-control when it comes to somebody just accidentally stepping on their shoe or looking in their direction, not looking at them, past them, and the person saying, "Oh, you know, we all public speakers, so you know the trick of looking at somebody's shoulder. It looks like you're looking at them, right?" And so now this person saying, "What are you looking at? What you looking at?" You know. So it's needed in our community. More brothers in our community are needed because, as I tell the women, a woman can't show a boy how to be a man. So you know, at every funeral, they all go into an uproar. I'm not saying a woman cannot raise a baby boy up to be a man. They can. We've all been there. We got relatives. We got a lot of single moms have raised boys to be men. I'm saying there's some simple physiological dynamics that you ladies don't have that we have, and we teaching them. I know a woman that says she's going to teach her son. I'm gonna teach him how to pee. He gonna sit down when he pee, and he gonna wipe his thing when he pee. Well, you can ruin everything that he knows as you know our social. The way we move socially. Now, y'all know when we was in school, the boys' bathroom is the nastiest, the stalls is the nastiest place around. Now, you teaching your son to go in the bathroom, pull his pants down to urinate, and then come out the bathroom where there's never no toilet paper. Somebody always wet the toilet paper, play around toilet paper, and wipe his penis. Like, you getting ready to cause your son all kind of ridicule because that you're trying to make him be a part of your social norm, but that's not the social norm as it relates to the male world. So our brothers have to now. And my biological brother, got all daughters, so he can't show a girl how to be a woman, right? He raised them all up, and he luckily, you know, had a wife, you know, in between. He still has his wife, but and when he was 20, he had his daughter. He did not have a wife for several years. He learned how to cornrow hair and all that kind of stuff. But there were things that the women in our community needed to teach him, or also kind of like intervene when it's those intimate times to talk about, you know, quote unquote intimate things as it relates to a girl. So we need more men to be foster dads because we need the dads to the males in our community to hand down some of those things. And as you answered the question earlier, to maybe add some things that you feel you didn't get when you were young. You know, like I had a great upbringing as it relates to my father and my mother being here. But my father, like I said, was a thug in the streets for his living. but he was nurturing as hell when he came home. And lastly, I'm gonna let you go, Eric. I'm gonna let you talk. But lastly, he said the reason why he did that because when he was a cop in the 70s here in Philly, was a lot of like Italians and Irish stuff. Like he said, when he would hang out with his police buddies and go in South Philly, to the Italian Italian home or something like that, the Italian men always would kiss their sons when they came in from work. So he said, "I'm gonna start kissing my sons." You see that? And it made
you watch the old movies. You're right. When you watch like the old movies like that, I didn't realize that when you said that. That's true.
It made a hell of a difference in our life. It made us caring, made us nurturing. You know what I mean? And if you can trash somebody in the street, you really can do anything you want. You know what I mean? You can kiss your son, you can cry in front of your sons, and if it get out of control, I can smash you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think the need for the dads are very pertinent because we have an overwhelming amount of actually traumatized boys that are in the foster care system.
No, I'm clapping because I was talking to someone about that earlier. These childhood traumas, if we don't get a grasp on them now and get them the supports needed, by the time they become adults, it's I'm gonna digress. Go ahead, E.
Oh no, I totally agree with everything Tony said. I think for me, being in early childhood education, you see all of that early on before they become 10 and 12 years old. You see all of that, and you have those conversations with the moms, because most of the time when they come into the child care centers, it's single women, and they're bringing these black boys in the programs. And, 9 times out of 10, and I'm going to say, no, 10 times out of 10, it's only 2 men working in the child care center, the janitor and me. We're the only 2 men that's working in the building, and I'm the teacher or the supervisor. And it's very hard to see that. So when you're having that conversation, I tell men, if you want to go in education, try early childhood first. And then if you don't want to do early childhood, then go ahead to secondary. A lot of black men will not go in early childhood because there's no money. And I get it. It is money. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. It's money. It's a high. It depends on what you do. But, me being, I was a foster dad to most of the kids in the program because I was the only male in the building. So when they saw me, they saw Mr. Eric. It wasn't, I would talk to the ladies in the school like, you can't do that. Why are you letting old girls sit up here, slap him across the face, but you're not talking, but you mad at him and you're going to put him in the corner. No, don't do that. Put her in the corner. Don't just, well, he's crying. He's a baby. No, don't do that. What you are doing is you're making him feel less than. Don't do that. Don't do that to him. And a lot of the ladies, they have learned a lot from me, and a lot of them are my friends to this day. I think that having more black men as foster dads is great. Technically, Calvin, you're a foster dad because you in the classroom, you teaching black boys. You may not be legally a foster dad, but you are a foster dad. You are a dad to some kid who does not have a dad at home. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we do need more black men. I've known a lot of black men between Philly and here in DC who have started the process of becoming foster parents, which is great. And they were like, well, you were an inspiration. I was like, well, I didn't think I was an inspiration. I just, did what I had to do.
Yeah.
But then I look at Tony, who is an inspiration because he does it all, and I commend you with 5 boys. I can barely handle the 2 in here. So
well, I got my practice from running that facility. Don't get me wrong. The kids kind of tell me all the time, Uncle Tony, this is not the bridge. I said, well, this is bridge 2.0. Yeah,
exactly.
And I don't run it like a prison, but you have to have structure. You have to have order because some of these kids have been warehoused where they literally was just in homes where they were a plant, where they watered them, fed them, and kind of like let them get a little bit of sunlight and set an iPad or a game in front of them.
Right.
Like I live in a great area, and these kids, you're going to play. It's nice outside. Go play. Like you can't not play no video games. You cannot play no video games or anything like that until the sun go down. They know that's the rule. You know what I mean? Now you can stay in the house. You ain't got to go outside. But and I bought them everything: skateboard, scooters, all kind of stuff. They got bikes, ton of stuff, right? So you got all the toys, all the memberships to the swimming pool, all kind of stuff, right? So if you decide you want to sit in the house, no electronics is going to be on until the sun drop, right? And at first they, try to, call my bluff, you know what I mean? But now they be up and out. I'm like, you young, go outside and run, climb something, kick something, or chase something. You know what I mean? Like, go out and have some fun. So, the last part is, y'all know, because y'all are way more educated than me, that, studies show that we need black men because these boys is in the system need to see a bigger version of them, right? Now, this is a test. Anytime I go to the market, and I'm sure y'all seen it too, the market, Walmart, any place, and it's a little toddler, and he's a boy, he look at you, he may not know, but he know you are a bigger version of him. Like they be captivated by us. If you ever
like
see
their eyes get real big, like
and the mom would be like, oh, come on, such and such a, I always say, hey, big guy, what's up? You having a good day? You know what I mean? Kind of thing. And I keep it moving. But, we know the studies show that children learn from the same sex human being they learn the most from the same sex human being that's in their life.
Absolutely. And I will say, for when I go to the market and it's me and the boys, the other kids will start talking to the boys because they see them and they want to talk to them and be like, okay, are y'all done yet? Like, I gotta go. Can we?
Yeah.
But Daddy, that's our friend. You just met this kid. It's not your friend. You just met.
But you don't know if they follow that.
That's a good thing because another thing that we struggle with in our community is our kids being friendly to other kids. We're not talking about stranger danger. I'm talking about the other kids. Like how you don't just naturally, vibe with another child if you see a child. You know what I mean?
They vibe with all kinds. They don't care what color the kid is. They vibe with any color kid. You be looking at them like, this kid. Like, we was at the park one day and they was just vibing with all the kids, and I'm like, okay, but I like them to be social with other children, of different races, because I want them to understand.
But they see you doing it. You know what I mean? They see you doing it, and that's why it feels natural to them.
Because I'm always vibing with somebody.
It is crazy because Eric trying to downplay. You don't know if they follow those boys' Instagram page or not. You the one got them out here looking like
superstars,
Jackson 5, superstars.
Listen.
I want to go back to this question because I need some more clarity. Can you guys explain the process towards becoming a foster dad? So, Eric, you said it took about 2 years, but there is it's like classes, and give me the full process, like background checks, classes, money.
So for me, the adoption process took 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was proud. Like when he adopted his, I was like, dang, he got his fast. It took me 2 years. I was like, what did he do?
I'm in the field, baby. I'm a social worker. But see, this is the thing. Not to digress a lot, but this is why we have to use our networks, right? Like anything. Like right now, I'm struggling with how do people pick schools? I want my kids to.
You should call me.
Yeah, listen. This this Philly school system, because both of y'all have worked in it, is you really got to be in rocket science and know how to do Chinese arithmetic to get your school a child in a halfway decent school, right? And long before school even started, so my anxiety is getting high. Luckily the child that I adopted, he's actually in a great school. You know what I mean? But the other ones are not. But to come back to your question about preparing to be a foster parent, I also think that's the reason why a lot of men are not foster parents, because they don't think they could actually, because I don't know if you have faced this, but they actually scrutinize us a little bit different. You know what I mean? They do. And I think it's because of society's, stranger danger, kind of thing. And whereas I've seen foster care mothers that got some sketchy behind situations right in front of your face, and they, fill their house up, with kids. So, I just want to tell everybody else that's watching this that they actually are specifically looking for foster dads, right?
Yeah, they are. I will say the agency that I went through, Turning Points, and the reason being I went through Turning Points because I work for PHMC.
Right.
So they are affiliate of PHMC. So it was easy for me to get in there, and I think it was a little bit easier, the process that I went through, because I worked for PHMC and I also worked in education. So it was the process. I took a lot of the trainings anyway that were required.
Right.
So, once you fill out the application, they give you the trainings that you need to take, and then they start the home visit. So when they come do your home visit, and then after all the trainings, after the home visits, then you're a certified parent. So it only took me like 3 months to be a certified parent from March to July, to be a certified parent.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you become a certified parent, they start calling you and asking. Like they call you that day. Like I was literally at work and they called me. They say, "Oh, okay, so we got 3 kids: a 17-year-old, a 15-year-old." And whoa, I told you I wanted a specific age. I can't handle. And they were like, and you can tell them the ages that you want, but they still call you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Just
Like for me, I know an older child would not have been great for me because I'd have been like, nope. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I had older nieces and nephews, but I wanted to nurture a child at a young age because I'm working in this field.
Yeah.
So that's why I did it. But then when I got the call for them, I only wanted one child in the beginning. And they said it's going to be very hard for you. And my first child I got was a 3-day-old baby.
Wow.
From Temple Hospital. And I lived across the street from the hospital. So they just walked the baby across the street to my house.
Wow.
And I had the baby for 2 weeks. That was the longest 2 weeks of my life because I was like, what? I think I took a shower twice in them 2 weeks that the baby was there. Let me tell you, it was a great experience, but I will never do a baby ever again, ever.
Yeah. So y'all just help me. So it's not I'm thinking like it's a long drawn out process, but it's just simply some like an application.
It depends on your agency.
Depends on the agency.
Some agencies have a once a month orientation. My agency does a consistent orientation. So you don't got like, let's say if June 1st, let's say August, no, let's say July 15th is their orientation date and you miss it, then you can't sign up to be a foster parent until orientation starts August 15th. Whereas though the agency that I'm a part of, they do a consistent rotation of orientation all the time. So, I came in with that mindset and, of course I came in telling them my background. And honestly, that's all I wanted was 16, 17-year-old, boys, because I'm like, all you gotta do is give them allowance, a cell phone, and curfew, right? Soon as they found out my daggone background, bro, they sent me all ringers. 10 years, because let me tell you something. Them 10 and 11 years old, they are fearless. They ain't scared of nothing.
They don't care.
And they don't care, right? They start sending me 10, 11-year-olds and 9-year-old right now. My age scope was as long as they are in school, so literally like 6 years old to 16, 17 years old, right? So I'm like, all right, they're going to send me a couple 15. They sent me, because the system supposedly, and it is, overwhelmed with teenage boys, and a lot of people don't want teenage boys for obvious reasons, right? Because they're scared they're going to be violent. They're scared that, everything that's embedded in them cannot be turned around. But because I had already worked with that population in my profession, I was like, I know how to do behavior change and evidence-based behavior type techniques to help them, navigate through. So long story short, when the kid I have now, Ali, that I just adopted came, he had already had 2 failed adoptions. And so the reason why, Eric, it happened so fast, because they had already did all the certification for him. The parents' rights had already been terminated long ago. He was in care since he was 8. He came to me at 11, and he had already had 2 failed adoptions, which was some people are in this foster care situation because nobody's going to let you be no foster care parent for 7-9 years. They're not going to let you, it's literally after a year, really after like 6 months, they start talking about permanency, you know what I mean? And if you don't pull the trigger to either do PLC, which is permanent legal custodian, or adoption, they're going to remove the child out the home into a home that wants, to sustain permanency for this child. And so when they brought this child to me at 2:00 in the morning, and I seen it, just something in my soul. They said, well, we're going to place him with you until we find an adoptive home. And I was like, well, I'm adoptive home. I wasn't, John. I wasn't adoptive home. I had just been open for about it. I was just was open for a month. But something in my soul said, say you adoptive home. I said, I'll adopt them, right? And so don't know nothing about the boy history, none of that stuff, right? And so the DHS worker said, well, then I'll stop the paperwork. He can, he can stay here. And so a year later, because it does take a while from, it depends on what you do. I'm a procrastinator. I procrastinated on some stuff as it relates to the background check, your family history. Like they do a lot of stuff for obvious reasons. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But once we got the last piece of the family, it's called family profile. The adoption was like boom, bang, he's adopted.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see a question. Hold on. How do you guys feel about same-sex couples fostering a child? That was a question somebody put in the chat. So I'm gonna tell you how I feel. Y'all can jump in here. It's a lot from the research. There are a lot of kids out there that need foster parents. I personally don't see anything wrong with same-sex couples fostering a child, because society makes us think there's something wrong with a same-sex couple fostering a child. I remember, Eric, you said earlier you were scared when you started the process because you're like, I'm a single gay father. I'm a single gay man. I'm trying to be a foster dad. I think we get caught. This is me. This isn't my guess. This is my disclaimer. I think we get so caught up in what everybody else is going to think when there's a child's life on the line. And many kids in foster care have dealt with childhood trauma that if they don't get some type of love from an individual, a foster dad, two foster dads, or whatever, we're going to lose them to the system. Yeah. And there are a lot of kids in foster care that do not have special education needs, but people have this perception that many kids in foster care are under the special education umbrella, and they're not. They're just some genuinely good, academically sound children who have been lost in the sauce, and they're just looking for love, and they just need somebody to love them. That's me. I'm gonna let y'all jump in because y'all are doing the work.
I think that when I went through the process, that I was afraid of what the agency was going to think, but then I had to stop and realize, like, I'm going to live my life regardless of what the agency think. I'm going to be me. I'm going to do me. I'm going to do what I do. But when I did the process and everything, I feel like sometimes you have to put that stuff to the side, because it's not about your lifestyle. It's about the kid and how you're going to provide them a better home. So it's not about your lifestyle at that point. It's all about the kid. That's how I look at it. And even my kid, I talk to my kids about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. We talk, I share, we got books on, relations, same mom, same dads, different families. Oh, I have those conversations with them. I think that's what we need to do, because in Head Start, that's what we used to do. We used to have books on that type of stuff for kids to understand, because kids will come to school with, the mom got a girlfriend, or the dad got a boy, a husband. Those types of things. So you never were you didn't discriminate. So I think that's the problem. Yeah. Like at this.
Yeah. Well, love, in my opinion, love is love, right? And kids need to see what love look like. Period. Right. And actually, the agencies are. And I'm coming from now my social worker hat. The agencies actually are actively recruiting same-sex couples, gay dads, and things like that, because a lot of children are kicked out of their home for identifying as gay. So the agencies have finally come to the modern times and said, hey, why don't we recruit some gay dads, some gay moms, and they could actually, instead of keep trying to quote unquote educate quote unquote heterosexual women, heterosexual men on gay issues and things that are gay. For instance, I remember when I had a child that we were putting in independent living, but she was in several homes. She looked like a boy, she wasn't trans, but she just really liked to be like a tomboy on Turbo, right? And she did identify as gay. And so, the mother was like, well, ain't nobody in here wearing no boxes, ain't no women in here wearing no boxes and stuff like that. You don't need to be her parent, though, because you're not understanding that, one, we are state licensed people, right? As foster parents, we're licensed by the state, and anybody that work for any government or state, you don't have a right to have an opinion, right?
Hello.
And so at the end of the day, you knew what you were signing up for, and now it may not be a good fit. All you gotta do is say this is a good fit, because they don't place no kid in your home without giving you at least, I would say, 75 to 85% of their history and their background, and you knew what it was hitting for when the young lady was placed with you. So as I respond to this, I think that there is a need, same sex, any love. They just need love. They need love. They need stability. They need nurturing homes. They need their room to not look like a prison cell. Put some thought into their room. You know what I mean? Like they just need love because and love and understanding. Because they in so many situations have not had that or and experienced it consistently.
Absolutely.
I want to go here. It's something that just popped up in my head while we were talking. There's some. What do y'all think? And this is me coming out the box and thinking outside the box. So, to the people that do it for the money, because you have some people out there that just do it for the money. Somebody's watching. Can you share with them that it's not about that? It's not about we know everybody's looking for multiple streams of income, but when you're dealing with a child's life, it's not about that. It's about the love, like Tony said. It's about the impact that you can make on the child's life. Jump in here.
I'll start off real quick, and because I talk at a lot of recruiting sessions for the agency, right? And I tell them honestly, what happens is a lot of people don't want to talk about the money. You know what I mean? But I'm saying you could talk about both. And depending on the child get a different rate. The child have already been considered having some sort of trauma or emotional imbalance or things like that. They pay a higher rate than what we call a kid that's classified as general, which might have been the mom was homeless and they needed a place for him. He didn't really have no presenting issues per se, right? So they pay different rates. But we can talk about the money, right? And you can talk about the money if you are taking care of your child. Like my children, I have a child that got left behind before he came to me. And I also have a neighbor friend whose son has a engineer's degree from UPenn. Guess who his tutor is? I pay premium tutoring for him. He's an engineer from UPenn of color, and I pay premium for my kid. And he's young. He's like 27 maybe, right? And he got a great personality, clicks with my kid, and he's starting to make my kid love math. And we all know that as a black man, a lot of men of color, we struggle with that. Well, a lot of people of color, period, but mainly men above that algebra 1 is like a rat. And he's making it fun. He's clicking with him. And I pay for it. I pay $200. I pay $100 a week for it. Right. And it's well worth it because I want my kid that's in the 6th grade going to 7th. This is where you fall in or out of love with school and math and stuff like that. Right. And I remember feeling helpless. So we could talk about the money. My kids go to the aquatic center. They don't go to like the neighborhood pool, not on a snob level, but I just really want them to have the best of the best because they give us money to do things. And if you have a conglomerate 5 like I do, I have more than enough to spread it around and do different things and make sure my kids are dressed well. Not just like Eric's kids, we not crazy on no big giant labels, stuff like that, but they dress nice. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And I don't let them have. If you got holes in your jeans, throw it in trash. If you got walked around your socks is black, throw them in the trash. We don't wash them; they won't get clean. Throw it in the trash because. What people don't understand, these kids are used to holy socks, these holy clothes. Hand-me-down, I don't even let them do hand-me-downs, not from the snob aspect, but just from the socialization aspect that they need to experience that these are your clothes. We bought them brand new and these are your clothes. Now once that sinks in, then of course I got stair-step kind of kids. I will, if they say, oh, let me have this, then I will let them hand it down. But I don't, you're not getting no clothes. Give me all your old clothes to give to him.
I love it. E, jump in here. I got like 2 more questions, y'all. I said 1, but it's like 2. But you took me somewhere, Tony, and I want to make sure I touch on it before we get off. So
the money aspect was never an issue for me. I didn't care how much money you gave me to take care of them. I was going to take care of them regardless. And like Tony said, I shop on a budget. So when I go, I shop at these stores: Burlington, Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls.
Layaway, my friend.
So if I go in the store and see jeans are $8, I'm buying this many pair of jeans. Yeah. And the crazy part is for my boys, because Sincere Edward is growing so fast.
Yeah.
I'm buying him more clothes.
Yeah.
So like Sincere is, I look at it like sometimes Edward has brand new jeans. I'm like, I might as well just get these to Sincere because you can't even fit them. They're this far from his shoes. So I'm like,
yeah,
they brand new. Like you just had this growth spurt.
Yeah.
But I look at it like people have asked me, well, do you get a lot of money for them? I said, I don't do it for the money. I told them that from the door. I don't do it for the money. It's never done for the money. If you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Right.
Your reason.
If you're doing it for money, you want to realize they ain't paying me enough.
let the church say amen on that part. Because it ain't that much. Once you get that,
they do give you enough to really, if you're good with managing money, there's enough. And we Black, so we all got our mamas, our grandmamas, and our papas that showed us how to make $1 out of 15 cents, right? And so my kids live really good, and please don't get me wrong as it relates to the hand-me-downs, like, because
no.
But the issue is my kids are very hard. My boys are like, everything I buy them, I'm like, why? I just bought you Adidas sweatpants. Why are you coming? Well, we play. All of a sudden, they wanted to play some tackle. So I was like, tackle me then. And I'm like, so this stuff gotta go in the trash. You know what I mean? But
I know, I get it. I get it. And I'm kind of glad that the boys were home for a whole entire year, because that gave me time to like, okay, so go through their clothes and go through this and go through, and just really like. I do things with them with that money that they get. I do a lot of things with them. I take them places, like I want them to expose them to different things.
Oh yeah.
Like
that was my question. Since you went there, as a foster dad, what are some things you've exposed them to that you missed out on growing up?
Traveling. I didn't travel a lot when we were younger because it was so many of us. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't travel as much. I want to expose the boys to everything, the world. You know what I'm saying? Like I told them, I said next year we're going to do a family trip, and they're going to pick where we go. So, within reason, but I want them to go out of the country, so I'm working on getting their passports so they can go and experience different things, because they're always reading books. So they're always doing great. They always want to do different things. They look at the map and they be like, oh, this is what's going on in Africa. And I'd be like, yeah, Africa is such and such. And we talk about it, and they're like, oh, we want to go there. And I'm like, we can't go there today, but we can go there next year. We can't go there today. We can go to the zoo so you can see animals that are from Africa,
And for me, I have to find a balance, because these particular kids, who still have connections with their family, they have these modern kids also are conditioned to just pay admission to everything. There's a lot of free things. It's not from the cheap level, but I took them down to the art museum, and y'all former Philadelphians, we got a lot of great things here in Philly. Philly really is a outside summertime. Now the wintertime, I don't want to do nothing in Philly, but but the summertime, there's so many festivals, fairs, walking things and stuff in Fairmount Park. So what I want to expose them to, I took them down to the art museum stuff. And they just had a ball running up and down the steps, taking pictures of Rocky, and so the ice cream truck. You know what I mean? I took them down South Street, get that humongous piece of pizza. You know what I mean? And they seen like we don't have to pay $40 admission for each kid somewhere, but we still spent the same roughly $180, but we were able to eat it all, or buy a light up balloon or something like that. But we didn't spend it on a mission, and I wanted to show them the simple things can be fun. And as far as growing up, I really had, my dad is like, he's such a think outside the box kind of dude. He likes the shore. I hate the beach. Probably because he took us to the beach so much all the time. We got family down Virginia Beach. Like, I don't like sand in my shorts, sand in my shoes. I don't like none of that stuff. You know what I mean? But I want them to experience the beach. You know what I mean? So we said we're going to go. I got a friend who lives up in Canada. She's like, why don't you come up and visit? I was like, wait, they love road trips. They love riding in the car. So I was like, well, maybe we'll drive up to Canada and go to Niagara Falls and see her and just y'all know it ain't nothing like having that packed cooler in the back of the car with the sandwiches and just right from the heat in the car there, you know what I mean? Like, just to do that trip, and these are the things that I want to do, like Eric was saying, just expose them to these things, and eventually like be on a plane or something like that, or be on a cruise ship or something like that as they get older. But that's the exciting part about it all is when you see it in their eyes. Like I just took them to Dorney Park a couple of weeks ago, not even thinking, like I'm thinking everybody goes to Dorney Park, right? And I got two brothers. I'm like, why the hell they keep getting on the bumper cars over and over again, right? And the big giant swing, why they get off, they run back around, get in line, and this was like when the park first opened up, so it wasn't like crazy yet, right? And so they said, we never seen that like this before. I'm like, what? Like we take things for granted. And you know how Dorney Park is set up, you can be in one section of the park and it's kind of like encased with trees. And so once I walked them beyond these trees to the next like the yellow section, they was like, what? Yeah, y'all spent all your time getting on the bumper cars 10 times in a row. You know what I mean? Let's go on to the next thing, Right. So just to see those new experiences in their eyes, I'm 54, it make me young all over again, just looking at their, the excitement and the wow, who knew this kind of stuff existed?
Right.
I'm gonna close. Look, fellas, I'm gonna close this thing out. But before we leave, I gotta ask you this question: 3 characteristics of an impactful foster dad, and your proudest moment on your journey thus far as a dad. So, what are 3 characteristics of an impactful foster, adoptive dad, and on your journey thus far? What's been your proudest moment?
Brother Aaron.
Tony, you go first.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
For me, oh my God, so many. One just recently this year, I've had some great moments. One, one of my kids, I'm great at PLC, which is kind of like I call it like an interactive adoption. So mom still has access to her child, but now I have the signing rights, parental legal custody. I'm sorry. Of the child, and she had 5 children. My kid is the oldest; he's 12, all the way down to a toddler. So 12, 10, 8, 6, and a baby, right? And she was like giving up. She had a terrible relationship with her son, the one that lived with me, and I, fixed the relationship in a sense, like made him respect his mom. His mom. Now this woman is a loving mom, but she's a young mom. She's only 29 years old with 5 kids. And I had to explain to him that you don't understand all your mom teenage years. She had a baby on her hip and a baby on her tit, right? All through her teenage years. And you have to understand nobody came to help her, right? All the men that said they would love her and be with her forever, impregnated her and rolled out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so you cannot talk to your mom like that. Your mom was overwhelmed. And I told the mom, I don't judge you no more. So fast forward, I built a relationship with her. And then recently we went to court, and she got her other son back that was in care. She agreed that the older son should stay with me. And then the judge said, okay, so my kid said, well, Uncle Tony, you old enough to be my mom, uncle. I said, I told you your mom old enough to be my daughter, right? She said, well, you really can be Uncle Tony to my mom. So he trying to get resources for his mom, right? I said, I absolutely can be Uncle Tony to your mom. So when we was in court, and the judge said, you know what? This is very rare. We see this kind of synergy between the biological parent and the foster parent. And so then the mom said, oh, that's my Uncle Tony, right? And the judge said, you call him Uncle Tony? She said, that's my Uncle Tony. She said, wow. She's like, you guys keep doing what you're doing. She agreed to let Kabir live here with me. And she reunited her with her last child. She got all her children back. And I called the mom and I was like, oh, who doing this? She was like laughing and smiling. And that's our job. If it can happen, is to keep the Black family together, you know what I mean, without judgment. And my other one is just recently our adoption. You know what I mean? I got a kid that got a little Gemini, so he a little poker face, don't show no emotions, right? And when they came and said, I said, he came in the house every time we would meet, because you meet with a worker throughout the year, right? Just to see if it's a good fit, kind of see if it's a good fit. And every time the worker would leave, he's like, am I adopted yet? I said, no, you're not adopted yet. We're getting closer though. So then he just finally stopped acting after like 7 months. And then the one day he came in from playing, and I said, guess what's happening Friday? He said, what? I said, you get adopted. He said, and just dropped to the floor and came back up like this. And I was like, oh, you do got emotions, right? So the adoption, and then my 19-year-old who just graduated high school, who's going to Cheney University for a ride.
So
These are all these, these great moments. And when kids just finally, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Eric, when they finally feel and show you, they're not going to tell you. If you're doing this to get a lot of thanks, you ain't going to get it. You have to be adult enough to understand you're not here to have these kids fill your cup. You're here to help fill their cup with some stuff that they are desperately needing. And this kid I'm talking about just adopted, he don't show no emotion for a lot of stuff because he's scared to be vulnerable, right? But one day he was mad, he ran upstairs, they lying on me, and he went in his room, knocked over the chair, stuff like that. So I came and I said, take a deep breath. Let's talk. He said, no, they lying on me. And tears start rolling down his face. Now, mind you, he don't take a compliment from you. If you give him a compliment, it's like you touching him wrong, right? So he has attachment issues, right? And so then I went to go wipe the tear from his eye. He coiled back like that. And I was like, listen, I want to tell you something. You've been here a year now. I signed up to love a kid and give a kid a loving home. If you don't want me to love you or allow me to love you, then I didn't sign up for that. I didn't sign up to not take care of a child who's 11 and raise them to be an adult. I said, I love you? He said, yeah. I said, how you know I love you? Are you saying that because you know it's the right thing to say because you're a smart kid? Or are you saying that because, you know it? He said, I said, how you know I love you? He said, because you wipe my tears. Oh, my God, y'all. Because you wipe my tears. Take this wallet. Go take this wallet. Just buy anything you want. So those were my happy moments. They was my happy moment. I was not expecting him to say it. And he like zeroed in on my eyes and he was upset. And he just turned and looked at my face and said, because you wiped my tears. I was like, oh, my God.
Now, Tony, give me your 3 traits for an impactful.
The 3 traits I feel: be flexible, right? Be flexible, be nurturing, and be open to the kid actually teaching you some stuff, and have the ability to create safe space. Understand what safe space is, and understand that this kid does not have to show you things, blatantly show you. Like, don't put these kind of restraints on the kid that, oh, he don't send me things. I have had them send kids to me with people. I ain't sending them with that game. I ain't sending them clothes. Them like, they ain't your damn clothes. They gave you money to buy them. That's their stuff. You send them to my house with empty bags and stuff like that, and that you didn't buy that with your money. So just be mindful of all that stuff and stay educated and get into a network. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you, brother. Eric, jump in here. 3 traits and some proudest moments thus far. Because y'all done wipe my tear took me out of here.
3 traits. Honesty. You got to be trustworthy. Because they got to be able to trust you. And you got to be honest with them. And loving. You have to be loving. Those 3 are the top traits.
Unconditional.
Unconditional love. You got to be honest with them. You're not honest with them, they're not going to respect you.
Right.
And if you're not honest with you, they're not going to trust you. So with that being said, it's my proudest moment.
Look, I said thus far, because there's gonna be some more.
No, my proudest moments for both kids. When Edward. Hello.
Hey, what's up, man?
That's Ali.
Ali, what's up, man? Congratulations.
He said congratulations.
Thank you.
Look at him.
Look at that hair.
Look. I feel you.
They just now coming in. Sorry, y'all.
That's okay.
You good?
You good?
What's up, man?
What's up?
That's my squad. 2 of them. All right, get out of here.
Proudest moment. When Edward, we were doing, because he's always my emotional one. He always
is the oldest one.
Yeah, he's a Pisces. Yeah, he's a Pisces.
Oh yeah.
So he all. Listen.
like that.
And being a Leo, it's very difficult having a a water sign in your house. Yeah.
And
So
I had a Leo dad. That dad I got is a Leo. Yeah.
So it's very, for me, it's like, but he always, like when my dad passed away, and I had to tell them, but I didn't tell them. And we was in the house, and I was telling them I was going to Pittsburgh to bury him because I didn't let them go. I just felt like they're too young to expose them to something like that. That was just my opinion.
Yeah.
My siblings, they were like, we understand. My mom, she understood. And I went to tell him in Sincere, and he looked at me. He said, I knew. I said, you knew? He said, yeah. He said, I heard you talking to, they call my mom Miss Nana. He said, I heard you talking to Miss Nana. He said, but I got to ask you something. I said, yes. He said, how were you feeling?
Nice.
And I was like, holding it back. Like,
yeah.
How am I? Because you don't have,
you don't expect it to come from them.
Right. People ask you how you feel, and you say, oh, I'm okay, but to hear it from your child to tell you.
Question from him.
And I was like, I'm okay. I said, it's hard. I said, I wanted y'all to do all these great things with my dad. Like my dad always wanted to take my boys fishing because he took all his other grandsons fishing, and my kids didn't get to experience that with my dad. So I have to make that happen to take my kids fishing. I know how to fish. I haven't fished, and I can't tell you when, but this is going to be an experience for that. And for Sincere, I think it was when he started preschool was one of my proudest moments because he was like becoming a big boy to me, like I took him to his class. He was like, bye, daddy. And I was like,
your allergies start acting up.
I was like, you don't want me bye, daddy.
Okay. I'm good over here. Bye, daddy. I'm good over here.
And now that now he's going to kindergarten this year. So this is all new. I'm used to them being at home with me all this time. So now to let him go to kindergarten, it's going to be like, do you have to go to kindergarten? But I want them to go, but in a way, I don't want them to go. You know what I'm saying? Like if I could hit the Powerball and stay at home and be that stay-at-home parent and teach them at home, I would do that.
Yeah.
I would get me a tutor from time to time and do some work. But it's those are my two moments.
I love it. I love it. So fellas, I got somebody may watch this show and have some questions. How can they keep up with you? And can they reach out to you on Instagram, Facebook, questions or whatever?
Absolutely.
Tell the people how they can keep up with you. I think this is gonna be a hot topic.
So I'm on Instagram at ejohnson1977, and I'm on Facebook at Eric Johnson-Witcher.
Okay, and you can literally text me 267-258-8281. Calvin, to tell you that I'm a texter, or you can follow me or reach out to me on Facebook. I think I got Anthony Morris. No, I got Tony Morris. Tony Morris.
Tony Morris.
TONEY. Tony Morse. MORSE. Reach out and ask me whatever you want. We need you brothers to step up and help. I mean, this is purpose-filled work. It's the most purpose-filled work that you didn't know that you needed to do.
Absolutely.
Listen,
absolutely.
One thing I love about this show is if I don't have the answers to the questions, I'm connected to people that do. I want to thank my amazing guests tonight, Eric and Tony, for just jumping into this dialogue with me about Black foster dads. Brothers, please consider doing this thing. If you're watching the show, share it. Share this broadcast right now. OT, thank you for watching, man. You and my good brother Will. Guys, keep up with these people. If you're considering doing this thing, these are some great resources for you to consider reaching out to. There is work that needs to be done. This is a great platform to do that. There are so many children out there, both young males and young females, that need foster dads. So why not join the movement today? Find an agency get some questions answered, do some more research, and consider really doing this thing. I want to thank my amazing guests for joining me. This has been this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. This parenting thing is just in my spirit for, I guess, the next week or so. Because next week I'm having another amazing show about parenting. So join me next Wednesday, where next week's show is I'm a parent, but I parent a little bit differently from you. So I'm gonna push the envelope next week and shake up some stuff, because
I'm definitely going to watch that one.
I'm coming from a different lens on next week. So this is this week's edition of Dialogues with Doc. Thank you guys so much for joining. My brothers, don't log off for me. Let me close the show out, and I'm gonna come right back. Okay.
All right.
All right.